Assalamualaikum, this is Janat Kamal with Pakistan Next Week.
And I'm Tahir Dhindsa.
Today we are going to discuss some important events which will be happening in next 7 days. And one of the major event is the tension between India and Pakistan. So Tahir, what do you think will happen in the next week?
I think this tension is going on, and the major powers and regional powers and friends of both the countries are trying to resolve the tension, at least to lessen it and bring the both countries back from the verge of war, which has been looming here and had been looming for especially for the past 48 hours. We have seen that the Prime Minister yesterday in his speech said that there was an imminent missile attack which was coming, and he said, oh my God, I cannot tell you how our army was trying to respond to that. So then it was diffused. So the war was basically knocking at the door. And I think that this tension between India and Pakistan, war is going to take place. It's not going to take place. What would be the outcome, and how both these countries wriggle out of the war? Basically, I think that would be the next 7 days for Pakistan.
Tahir, looking at the current situation, you have listened to the media in India also and Pakistan also. So all the misconceptions which have been created by the Indian media, to some extent it might be Pakistan media also, but how do you see that?
Actually, we are in the state of war, because they have come to our territory, violated, dropped bombs. We have gone to their territory. We have dropped bombs there and shoot down their. So it is war. There is no doubt. It's not full-scale blown out war, but it's a war which is, our airspace is still closed. It's not closed, but it had been closed till yesterday, and then it was gradually brought back to the normal. So it was war. But the difference is that when war happens, both parties try to build a narrative, paint a narrative on that. But personally, I understand, and most of the analysts and the expert understand, and they say, and they are convinced on it, that this episode was started to build a narrative, not to build a narrative on war, but to start a war to build a narrative. And what is narrative? That depends on two things. One is that India want to build a narrative internationally in the region, and specifically for their own people, that India is a much stronger and their senior partner. As Israel and the United States, they reserve the right, they go and do the preemptive strikes without giving any proof. They say that there are terrorists and we safeguard, just to safeguard our interest, national interest, we need to get in and do a preemptive. And in Afghanistan, even in Pakistan, drone attacks they had been giving. So India want to rise to that level. Second, in the region, in SAARC region, no country dared to raise an eyebrow in front of India. Bangladesh totally subdued it. In Myanmar, they went inside and did an action to neutralize the threat there, and in other countries as well. Although their people hate them, but they do that. Pakistan is the only country where it was not possible, and Pakistan has been demanding at the equal relationship, on equal footing, on the basis of equality. So that was an attempt that if they do that and nothing happens, that can happen again. So Pakistan would start listening to what India say, without the fact that India don't say it.
But Tahir, it is said that all the action which was taken by Pakistan army was due to the protection from Indian army. They were the one who took a step forward. So how do you see this?
What protection?
For the protection of the country, because the step was taken by Indian army.
You are right, but the thing is, there are two very important things from the speech of Prime Minister. One is saying that India would say, we will retaliate. We will not think, we will retaliate. One, just to give that you are not bigger, but and they did that. Second, yesterday he said, even if you are a greater than us and you have the ability to subdue us totally, we will choose the path of Tipu Sultan. We'll die fighting our way, protecting our region. So saying that if you'll do that, there would be a war. We will not let you. We'll fight to the last person. He clearly said that. So the narrative that India was trying to have been, I personally understand, has badly been defeated, because they have lied to their own public. They have lied to, for example, yesterday they showed an engine that is an engine of an F-16. F-16 has an engine matlab General Dynamics made it, but they were saying that F-16. But the fact
this again comes to the fake news by the media.
Fake news.
So we will continue from here. We'll continue from here. We'll take a short break now and we'll continue from here. So Taisa, we'll continue with what you were saying.
Yeah. So Indians say, but they just forget one thing, that the Pakistani F-16 does not have that engine. Pakistani engines are Pratt and Whitney engines. So it's clearly defeated, that they are lying, because had there been a Pakistani plane they have shot down, the engine would have been Pratt and Whitney, not General Dynamics and Rolls-Royce and other engines that they have been showing. So clearly they are caught lying red-handed, because nobody can, I mean, United States of America supplied all the F-16 engine and Pratt and Whitney made the engine. Simple. And so they are caught in action while they are lying. Then they said ke humne andar ghus ke, we just went inside and bleed them and come. There is no proof. Where are the blood? And so that is second, and they are not showing their proof to their public. And then Pakistan said that we have shot down 2 planes, and they were denying. And then the pilot was arrested and the wreckage is there and everything. And now, just to show the whole of the world, Pakistan has brought that pilot as a ceremony to the Wagah and handed over. Yes, that had and goodwill yesterday. So the narrative has been badly defeated. Now they can escalate, I mean, bring the war to the escalation ladder, further escalate and try to use the method that has already been defeated. So next 7 days could have witnessed a war, and that is what the world is trying to diffuse.
Because as per the Indians, the situation is still, you know, it's not at peace. Even Pakistan, the situation we see is at peace, but they are still not at peace. So where do you see that? Will this tension lead to an extensive situation, or will it just settle?
I mean, then there is another thing. United States of America is going out of the region very soon, in a few months. They have agreed to the Taliban's, the last in the Qatar, Zalmay Khalilzad and Mullah Ghani brother, that they have agreed that Taliban would shun violence and they'll come to the government, and the government would not be Ashraf Ghani. That would be an interim government to hold election, which would be postponed, and Taliban would be part of that interim government. First and second, Taliban would be part of the Afghan army as well. So they are more official than officials. And India has been fighting Taliban all along with the Northern Alliance. India has just lost a space, total space in Afghanistan. So that is another reason. And second, to build a narrative as a power region that Israel has occupied in the Middle East and all that. And they are collaborating, they are under advice from Israel on that, on the policy.
Tahir, do you think that our foreign minister, he should have, you know, contested this case through the lines of OIC?
I mean, OIC is toothless organization. Muslim, they are in Saudi Arabia and
so
UAE.
You say that it was right to boycott it?
They invite, no, I don't think so. They should have boycotted. They were, and they just registered their opinion there. That could have been. But I personally understand that one thing is they should have, I personally understand that they should have gone, but they have boycotted. They are not going there. But the Crown Prince of the UAE has telephoned, Shah Mahmood Qureshi. So the advantage of going to it is always, it's already there. Then the Adil Al-Jubair, foreign minister of the Saudi Arabia, came yesterday and he discussed that. So Saudi Arabia, these are 2 main countries which are intact, and they're important because they have bailed out Pakistan from the balance of payment.
In the coming days, if we see that the tension is increasing, so what do you think, which countries will be standing with Pakistan?
I mean, nobody is going to stand with Pakistan, or the international relations are governed very differently. Countries have their selfish aim, but Turkey has already shown that they are standing, they supported that. But for their own interest, China, Russia, and now the United States does not want a war. Yesterday, I was listening to an interview of a director of US Institute of Peace, Mohit Yusuf. He's Pakistani. He had been a colleague in alumni in an organization as well. He was saying that if the BrahMos missile strike takes place, nobody knows that it's a nuclear tipped or it's a conventional weapon. So when you respond to that missile strike, then obviously you don't know if it's bringing a nuclear or not. Then you fire a missile in retaliation, they also don't know. So
okay,
it
that's
was
how
on the verge
we will
of
continue from here. We'll take a short break here and then continue from here. So Tahir, we'll continue with what you were saying.
Yeah. So Moeed Yusuf, he was saying that after the Cuban crisis in 60s between Russia with Khrushchev and President Kennedy, that the world had never came so close to the nuclear threshold, nuclear brink than this crisis. So it was horrible, because if the nuclear weapon is used, then later on it engulfs the whole region, and it's bad for. There was a calculation that about 2 to 3 billion people would die as a result of the war between India and Pakistan as a nuclear, because nuclear cloud will take over and it will destroy the crops and everything. And that is a separate topic. So the world is not trying, they don't want a nuclear. So Pakistan has brought, and one thing I would like to mention, initially that nuclear deterrence was created by General Musharraf when he adopted the policy of quid pro quo. And this time again, Pakistan has adopted the policy of quid pro quo. You do what you want to do. We are concerned, okay, come and do whatever you want to do with us, and we are going to do what we want to do.
Tahir, what do you think, what would be the implications of these fiasco on the regional stability?
I mean, already the regional stability in a jeopardy. I mean, if the CPEC is coming, one thing, I mean, maybe it might have been for the CPEC. It will slow down with the countries which don't want that. But already feeling difficulty on that end, the region is, no air traffic has taken place from India through Pakistan. Couple of thousand flights have been cancelled. So region is all, Bombay Stock Exchange was on a free fall. The portfolio investment to the tune of billions has flown away from Bombay.
Tahir, I'm short of time, but I'll ask you last question. What do you think in future, will India pursue for the settlement?
Of Kashmir or this issue?
Of this issue, present issue.
I mean, they would, I think they would try to linger on till their elections.
Okay.
When the elections came after that, they would like to come up but I don't think so that they'll try to settle the Kashmir issue.
I think next week we can put a light on the upcoming elections also, because I think this is one of the major issues also. So figure of the week which we have today is Abhinandan.
Wing commander, field of not very senior but mid-career senior military leadership. He's a very good pilot and established as a leader in Indian, a couple of YouTube documentaries already. And he did a very brave action actually, fighting. When his plane was being downed, and even at that time he was hitting the target and flying. Then he came down, crashed after the parachute, and he tried to defend himself with the gun. And he immediately swallowed the maps and the paper which he was carrying, to say very loyal to his government, very loyal to the country, and good military. Then the military went there, Pakistan army went there and rescued him from the mob. Otherwise mob would have killed him. So, and then he appreciated. He said, they're very professional army, right from the captain who rescued me from the mob, he said in an interview. So I think it's a good omen for Pakistan as well, because arresting a pilot who was flying the aircraft is the biggest proof that we have done it. Definitely. India has not presented, so narrative, India has lost on that narrative actually because of this.
Thank you so much, Tahir Dhindsa. This was today's Pakistan Next Week. Until the next episode, Allah Hafiz.